Hello, Leo. This is your extended reading. So, I have some good news and some not so good news. But before you turn off this video, just stick here with me because, the bad news are not that bad, really. It's actually, they are putting you in a position of like a new adventure that you want to go for it, right? Although you have settled in this place and you were thinking long term and your heart was fully in it and you were feeling like you found your home. So, your decisions are perfect, right? Remember, we ended with the Ace of Swords. So, your decision to go through with this larger renovation project, right? It's just exactly right. It's based on the truth that you were feeling and thinking, like um very straightforward, right? But because we're starting with the Hierophant here, this is talking about before you know it, all of the engagement with this renovation, with this mission of yours to bring this light into your room, into your space, right? The space that you want to make it more yourself. So therefore, it's really crucial that you are in direct connection with the sun because it is who you are. So here with the Hierophant, the message that is coming from him is before you know it, Leo, you have become an expert. You are the authority, like this higher authority on doing this kind of stuff of, transforming like a very empty space, like a lifeless space into something that is alive. And actually that's something that came through in the Cancer reading about staying alive. And I feel like your ability here, that really it's coming through with a lot of knowledge. It's like everything that you were doing intuitively and spontaneously just because your heart was in it, you were passionate about it, you wanted to make it your own, so you knew exactly what you were bringing in and what you were removing from this space. It's like really giving it your touch, your unique touch. It's like you become this expert, right, in giving life to lifeless spaces, right? It's like you transform a room like no other, right? Because it's like it's what your heart's desiring. It's like what you are breathing, right? What you are envisioning, but also what you feel like doing, right? It feels like a lot of the motivation comes from the Ace of Cups that we saw, that was like wanting to bring in comfort, well, especially bring in light, right? And before you know it, it's like you have become the authority in this segment, in this niche, in this whatever, right? In this process, right? And I feel like you have a slight notion of this because of this Six of Cups. So it feels like, well, I don't really know how much time has passed from finding that place that we saw in the first part and becoming this authority, right? Or finishing with this huge transformation, with this huge renovation, with this tweaking this room to make it feel yours, right? And you accomplish it, but there's also a little bit of a nostalgia here with the Six of Cups, and it's almost like I don't feel like either how long it's been, because I feel like it's not like a long time, right? Because it's like just the first part and the second. And I'm not seeing like this huge amount of time between the moment that you first entered this room and how you transform it to be what it is today, right? Because the transformation is massive, right? The amount of knowledge that you have learned from this experience is immense, but so is the amount of memories that you made already, maybe in a short amount of time, right? So the nostalgia is because, well, I want to say, because you already brought in things and objects and pieces that were already embedded with a lot of meaning, a lot of love, a lot of, emotional attachment to these things. So when you place them in this room, it's like you naturally, it's like the amount of love coming from the objects were like inundating or flooding the space in itself. So this is the reason why, the room, the space was already, now attached to so many memories, because you've done so much to make it your own. So there are a lot of beautiful nostalgic feelings, right, in regards to this place, in regards to this room that you have brought to life, and a life that is mirroring yours. It's like is mirroring your soul, your essence, right? Your own unique light, right? It's just enhancing, like the light of the room that you have let in is enhancing your own light. It's like, but the opposite is true as well. It's like with your own light in this room, it's like you allowed more in to penetrate that empty room, you see? So there are a lot of things that you hold near and dear from the experience that now puts you in this very high level authority position, right? Coming from the Hierophant. But so we have now the Four of Pentacles here. So remember, the first thing that you did when you moved in, it's like really the first object that you brought with you, right? And it doesn't need to be an armchair. It was just an example that I was receiving in the first part with the Four of Cups. But it's like that thing, that first object, right, was so significant because it's like the first thing that marked your move or your settlement, right? Here with the Four of Pentacles, it's like this thing has become even more part of that place. Remember, when you first moved, it's like you were checking to see if you fitted there, if this was the place with the Five of Pentacles. And the first thing that you brought in was coming from this Four of Cups. So once you have achieved and you have designed and redesigned and adjusted and made all of the renovations come to life, right, and became this authority in interior design, let's say, it's like you feel how much you have. It's not that just like you see how much you have accomplished, it's more than that. It's like you look back to that first thing. It's almost like now everything is different, right? The memories are filled with just emotion, right? Because of everything that went through in this space, everything that you brought in, everything that you removed, everything that you transformed to make it yours, right, Leo? But now with this Four of Pentacles, it's like when you look back to that first thing, it's not that it loses the same meaning or it loses the excitement, but in a sense, it feels a little bit stale, or it feels a little, not lifeless, but it feels too settled, right? It's almost like that armchair that was everything for you when you put it there in the first time. Now it's looking like just another piece of furniture, right? So although the memories are still there because much has been done, I want to say, the same emotional connection that you had previously with each and every single object that you brought in, it's like it's not, I don't want to say that it's not there, but it's not at the same level, right, from the beginning. And this is something that really brings you down a little bit or makes you frustrated, because with the Two of Swords here, when you see that, it's almost like you don't want to see it, right? It's like you wish you look back at this armchair, like now, right? Not before, not at the memory, but where it is right now, or the state in which it is right now. And you don't want to see that it no longer holds the same feeling, at least, right? Or the same necessity to bring in this one significant piece to be the grounding element, or to be uh the thing that will establish your heart, to make your heart settle, right? So I feel like just because that already happened, right? So that feeling is no longer there. It's like you have lived through it. So now it's just this, maybe not even too far away memory, but it's a memory nonetheless. It's not in the object, right? This is what I want to say. It's like, but with the Two of Swords, it's like you're trying to avoid it at any cost. And I want to say this is, it's not that it's harming you, but a little bit, right? With the Ten of Wands, yes, this Ten of Wands came a little bit with the feeling of carrying like a burden. It's almost like by avoiding looking at this object. So it's almost like if in the first part, you know, the first thing that you did, the very first thing that made it feel like your own, was sitting down on this armchair and feeling like you could just rest and enjoy the place, right? But that feeling is no longer there. It's like the object is there, the armchair is there, but you don't want to look at it. Maybe you don't even want to sit in it anymore, right? Because every time you do, it's like you are obligated to see that the feeling is no longer there. The feeling is no longer in this object, right? And this is bringing you like almost like a burden. But you know, I was this card, the Ten of Wands, as the Nine of Wands, although the Nine of Wands is not here. These two cards were sometimes embedded with the beautiful message of being a path of flowers, right? And I feel like to you, Leo, what you are not wanting to see, because maybe like the amount of effort and love that you showered this place with, that you transformed this whole room, right? It's like that you made it your own to the tiniest details, right? And also through the biggest interventions, right? As we sought to let the light in. The first thing that marked the move is like the biggest sign that things have changed, and that every single feeling that was guiding you through this entire process now is only a memory. And that is okay, because it's like you have come to this place of, you know, like to the highest level of knowledge that you could extract from this experience, right? So instead, this is what I want to say with the Ten of Wands for you. Instead of seeing this lifeless object, that it's not a lifeless object, I'm just trying to contrast the two energies, right? From the way that you perceived it first and how you perceive it now, or how you're trying to avoid perceiving it now, or acknowledging that how it is now, right? The longer you avoid it, the longer you are going to come in your own way. It's like you are holding yourself back from going through this path of flowers and seeing it as a burden, right? What I want to say is, because you're seeing yourself as belonging there, right? Remember, we started with you analyzing the physical space, the empty space, and you were slowly but surely embedding it or introducing things that were significant to you to bring in all of the emotions, all of the coziness, everything that is meaningful, right? And you managed to do so, like in the small pieces and the larger pieces, right? The small intervention and the bigger interventions. But because you have arrived like in this beautiful lively place, right? Because you have transformed it into a lively place, from the lifeless to the lively place. It's like there is something else that you can explore with all of the authority that you have found, that you have discovered. And maybe that is it. Maybe this thing that happened was exactly because you had to happen. Well, you had to experience it firsthand so that you could learn essentially how to do it, how to tackle things that are at your disposal, but like being very mindful of each intervention, but also being very loving and caring for the interventions, right? And for each single transformation that you introduce. But seeing that things have changed once the project is over, right? Once the room is finished and all of the interventions, all of the renovations are done, right? It's like looking back at the same old pieces and not wanting to see that now they are changed. It's like you're trying to tell to yourself, Leo, with the Five of Cups coming next, that this is your place, that you have transformed something that was just a physical structure, right? Just walls with no life in it, with no, it's like that zest, right? That like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like you can clearly know like when you step into an abandoned place or into a place that has life in it. This is the distinction that I want to make here, and this is all you, right? You have done that, and when you did that, it's like everything that you are trying to avoid, see and recognize that in all of those changes, right? No matter how much you were putting in it or how much of your heart and your passion you were delivering to it, it's like still there are pieces that no longer have that. And it's not completely, right? It's not like they're dead or anything like that, but it's just that this has also changed, right? Alongside with all of the other bigger transformations. And this is what you're trying to tell yourself in order to avoid carrying something that could be a potential burden, right? So maybe it's not that you're tricking yourself, Leo. It's almost like you are arguing with yourself, like, but why do I have to go and explore this path of flowers? Because to me, exploring this path of flowers is the burden. I just want to see that everything that I've done to this place is, putting all of my heart to make it feel my own, to make it belong to me, to feel like that, like I belong to it, right? So it's not easy, okay, Leo? It's almost like you are not fooling yourself. You're not tricking yourself. It's just that maybe there has come this time where a new path, right, is inviting you to explore further, especially because we're ending with the Ace of Wands. So it's interesting because instead of the Nine of Wands, the Two of Wands came here, right? And so we have two inner wands, and I want to say both of them are you. It's like this is the internal argument that you are trying to avoid seeing, and your own self, like even maybe your higher self, right? But I'm not seeing this as like a wise kind of consciousness. It's almost like, and I'm not trying to say that you're having like a split mind, but it's more or less like that. It's like your human self, your consciousness here on earth as this human being, Leo, has two different opinions at the same time, and you're trying to justify to yourself with all of the work that you have done and everything that you have put in, like all of your heart, right, into this room, and trying to make yourself, to convince yourself really that maybe you don't have to go yet in this path. But this is exactly what the Ace of Wands here at the end is talking about. Like, you know, and that is the interesting thing. It's another ace, right? It's like, what instigated you in the first place to move in, to settle down your heart, and to make these grand transformations were these two aces. And there's another ace here inviting you to a new adventure, something that is as exciting, that is as just instigating again, like there's something new that is calling you to go on this new path, and a path that can be beautiful as well, but you have to let go of this avoidance. It's like the longer you avoid seeing what is really in front of you, it's like the longer you're going to start this new path, right? And maybe this is what is being argued here. It's like, why are you like really holding yourself back from exploring something new, right? It's like, now you have the knowledge, right? You have learned from it. I know maybe you do want to still enjoy what you have created, right? Instead of just jumping into some new adventure, some new project. But I have to say that ending with the Ace of Wands, I feel like this is going to spark some sort of curiosity in you, right? That will want to make you go, instead of, you know, fearing or not wanting to see that there is another opportunity calling you, right? So, and also being the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Fire, it's like you are the sparkling light, that the sparkle of light that is able to bring in the light, right? So maybe now others, because you have become this authority, others are seeking to be lit up by your own ability to bring in the light, right? It's like you, other people are seeking you out to bring in light for them, right? This is why, you know, it came through as the Ace of Wands instead of the Ace of Pentacles, which is not here. So let's see now, as a final guidance, what the astrological runes want to add for you here, Leo. Okay. So we have Scorpio, and it's, I feel like, okay, so this Scorpio energy feels a little bit like the internal argument that you're having with yourself. It's like maybe you are being your own enemy at this point, right? It's like you are trying to hold yourself back intentionally, right? Because, well, Scorpio is a water sign, right? And maybe the scorpionic energy that wants to feel cozy, wants to feel in their own element, right? Well, because you have implemented like a lot of your heart, meaning you have flooded this room with a lot of your personal water. It's like this scorpionic energy is here to say, yes, I'm trying to stay here because I have built this, like with all of my strategic planning and redesigning. I just want to enjoy it. I want to stay here, because why do I have to go if I just moved in, or if I not just moved in, but if I just made it my own, if I just made it feel like it belongs to me, like it suits me, it brings this cozy feeling, right? But okay, so maybe we can, I don't know, maybe you, Leo, can wait a little longer to, you know, take this Ace of Wands as your own, maybe self-taught ability to bring in the light, to bring the light to others, right? But I want to say, it's like, really being the first spark that, you know, initiated all of this with the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Water, and Scorpio being this water sign. I want to say, go back to what your intuition was saying, what your heart was saying, what every single water cell in your body was showing to you, right? Through your own feelings. How did you feel when you had that first excitement running through your body and giving you the confirmation that that was the place to settle? Go back to that and see what is that you are holding back, right? With all of the memories that are now attached to this place. And because it's almost like you're not losing it, right? It's like the way that, well, Scorpio is all about transformation. The way that you transformed this room, it's like now maybe others are seeking you so that you can help them transform their rooms, so that you can bring more light. And actually, you know, that's the other thing. Scorpio is like this sign that transits between dark and light, right? It's like the death and the rebirth. And that is actually connecting to the Cancer reading. Yeah, the Cancer reading. So, was it the Cancer or was it the Gemini reading? I can't remember. Anyways, so to be honest, I feel like this rune is talking about, like, if you are in doubt of going, like, to a new, to, you know, accepting a new opportunity, to just enjoy what you have learned with your own self-transformation process, right? With your own renovation, right? It's like, if others are asking for it, it's like, maybe consider it, but also go back to how you felt when you began this in the first place, right? It's like, you can bring in the light, but you can also, like, consider yourself just immersed in this deep waters that, you know, Scorpio is very used to and it's very comfortable in, right? So it's like, you have done all of this and you want to enjoy it. You want to stay in the comfortable waters of the renovated house, for instance, right? But I feel like you can do both. That's the thing, Leo. So let me know how this fits for you, or how this resonates with you. I'm really curious now. So I hope this was insightful to you. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.